Hey there, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Ann Perry, and my guest today is Drew Drake. Hey, Drew, how are you?
I'm great. I'm really good,
Awesome.
thanks.
Awesome. So glad to have you here. Really grateful that you made time for us today. Drew and I met not that long ago when I had put a message out to Spirit to say, I really need somebody to teach my audience about nutrition for intuition. And that was on probably a Wednesday when I put that message out. And sure enough, the next day I met with Drew and I asked him what he did for a living. And he said, well, I teach people about nutrition for intuition. I'm like, whoa, there we go. It was that quick. All I needed to do was ask. So Drew's company is thelivingvibration.com. It's a website you can check out, all kinds of really good information there. And Drew is going to be my guest on our Master Number 11 membership live event, which will be hosted on Monday, September the 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll put the information up there so you can check that out a little bit further. But Drew, I wanted to talk a little bit about how did you get into this? Like what made you really keen to get involved in nutrition? I know you've got a really big global appeal here. Like it's not just about eating foods, it's got a much bigger message. Can you maybe share that with us a little bit?
Absolutely. So, when I was 20 years old, I went to university and I was studying sport health and nutrition. And even though they were teaching us how the body worked and how fuel can affect the functionings of the body and whatnot, they weren't really getting into the food side of things. And so I didn't know anything about that at this stage. I just knew about the more scientific approaches. And one of my housemates, who was also studying nutrition, he had started doing this really alien thing where he was taking up the counter space in our shared house and just making an absolute mess everywhere as he was juicing. We're like, what are you doing? What is all this? None of us had seen a juicer before. And I just want to point out that a juicer isn't the same as a blender. A blender is the thing you throw the things in the top, you press a button and it whisks it up. The juicer is much, well, depending on what type you get, but it's a slower process and you don't get the fiber, you just get juice. So he kept making this mess and we were all in the park one day and he had this big glass container and it's green. He says, who wants to go? We're all like, whoa, you know. So everybody has a drink and, and everybody's like, oh, this. Well, I drank it and it shocked me. It really blew my socks off. I was like, whoa, what is that? I have never, ever tasted anything like this before. So that really took me aback. And so I started to talk to him more, and he was reading all these books that were not a part of the literature they were teaching at the university. And he said, here one day, I was eating a terrible microwave meal, a TV dinner, macaroni and cheese, I think, one of my
Gophers all
favorites.
the way.
He throws this book at me and he slams this book down. He says, that's the Bible. Well, that's really what got me really into understanding how food works. I started to read and read and read, and then I started to read all these books by doctors from all these different perspectives. And then one day on my journey, the internet was getting faster by this point. There was more websites out. I came across this concept of not cooking your food. And I remember the moment I read it, where it was just put to me in a very simple way. When food is uncooked, it's alive.
Right.
And you're putting life into your body. When it's cooked, it's dead. And so you're putting that into your body. And it hit me. It hit me like a sledgehammer. And it was a beautiful day and a sad day because I was like, oh, I can see the common sense truth in this. You know, I don't need too much more to see that. That's just obvious. And does that mean I don't eat cooked food anymore? Now, of course, it didn't mean that, but it was just something I knew, like, wow, not cooking your food. I really love my cooked food. So that sent me on a journey. And from there, I started to meet different people around the world leaders in this field. And then I began to coach people in health, and I got a precision nutrition certification, coaching certification. Then I started to run courses, and now I have a program that I run where I encourage people to take in as much living fresh foods as possible.
Wow. And do you feel that you being a master number 11, do you feel that when you had that moment, when you tasted that smoothie and you went, damn straight, that there's something about this, right? Do you feel that that could be connected to the fact that the 11s have a higher vibration already anyways?
It's a good question. It's certainly, as an 11, my vibration has always been very, very, very high.
Yes.
And we can get into vibration later, if you like, but because growing up, I didn't eat any fruits or vegetables at all. I only ate yellow colored food. I didn't eat anything because, my mother was very fussy and a vegetarian and stuff. So I just kind of emulated that. So it was such a surprise when it hit me, and you could say it was divine intervention. That it was like, hey, you already have this powerful vibration, but guess what happens when you really put this stuff in? Now you're going to be able to carry that vibration, rather than it being, sometimes my father would always say, you're too much, you've got too much energy. And he was always suppressing that. And if I'm really tired, I can have that because of the 11's high energy. I can be kind of overtired. What I found with the food is that it really grounds me. It really grounds that energy. And then I can be both high and low.
I never thought of that. As you were talking, I was thinking, it turbocharges you, but also I feel that it's like running on all cylinders. It's like a car that runs on 3 cylinders rather than 4. And when you finally kick in that 4th cylinder, it's like, wow, this is amazing,
Yes.
That's fantastic. So your mantra, I love it. Charge, activate, reload, explode. I love that. So, all right, let's go into vibration. What the heck does vibration mean anyways?
Sure. So everything in the universe is made up of energy. And I think a lot of people realize that now. So everything is energy. And then the matter and the particles, they have a certain amount of energy in them, and it vibrates at a certain frequency. There's a certain vibration to it. So atoms, for example, they vibrate at a really high frequency. A piece of rock, it vibrates at a low frequency. So that's essentially what vibration is. Vibration is just the movement of energy within all matter in all forms. So and there's a spectrum, there's a frequency spectrum. So low vibration is, like I said, something that doesn't move so much. High vibration is something that moves a lot. And as human beings, we tend to operate much better when we're on a higher vibration, because we're alive, we're vibrant, we're activated, right? And then we're able to express ourselves fully and put it out there. And as an 11, I know that, and for all the other 11s listening to this, if you deep down inside know that you have this thing going on, which you do because you're an 11, right? You're that master number.
The vibration.
Right. You've got that spark, that fire, but you're just kind of down and out, or you feel lost and confused, or you're spinning out in circles. The reason why is because your vibration is low. And one of the, so when you raise that vibration, there are various means as well. There are various things, and I teach 4 of them as a concept of health. But when you raise that vibration, then everything begins to change. And as you probably know, you then attract like vibrations, because you're vibrating at the same frequency.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like we're putting in high, you can put high octane fuel into a vehicle, but it's not necessarily going to run correctly if there's something else wrong. And when you said that the high vibrational foods cause us to be a little bit better grounded, I always say to the 11s, part of the reason why you're all mixed up, and sometimes you suffer depression and frustration and confusion and all, brain fog and anxiety is a big one, and not being able to sleep right, is because you're not grounded, right? It's like you're pouring, you might be pouring stuff in, but if you're not pouring the right stuff in, you're not plugging in. So you don't get the right connection. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I really like the analogy you used there about putting fuel into a vehicle. You could say that, I know that all 11s are different because of their other numbers, but the 11 aspect is one of, it's
intense.
It's intense in a beautiful way. It reminds me a little bit like a Lamborghini, if we're looking at cars, and it's this, kind of fast, sleek, beautiful thing. But if you don't control it and ground it, you take yourself out. So it's really important when you have a Lamborghini that you put the right fuel into that Lamborghini, because this isn't a penny farthing bicycle. This is a Lamborghini, and it needs the good stuff, the best stuff.
Right, yeah. So one of the things that 11s will often agree with is when I say to them, a lot of people don't know they're 11s until they meet me. And we talk about the fact that it's like a fluorescent light when it's on. You know how when the fluorescent light is on and it's kind of going, it's always vibrating like that. And I say to them, it's kind of like that internally. We have this crazy internal rattle or vibration. It's the only way I can describe it. And sometimes it can be described as anxiety. But I know myself, I'm O positive blood type. And I know that I require a lot more protein than somebody who's not an O positive blood type. So I know that when that rattle starts and that vibration starts, I have to get some protein, right? Now I know you're probably going to tell me I should eat raw fish or something.
No.
I'm going to tell you I'm still going to eat my steak. Medium rare, thank you very much.
You know what I would say for your blood type, and I have the same blood type.
Do you?
I've done the test and everything.
Yeah.
Is firstly, I'd never tell you to eat raw fish or raw meat for that. And I've got nothing against anyone that chooses to do that, right? But I don't recommend that. But here's the thing: when it comes to protein, because a lot of people have been misled with regards to protein, and it's like this. You ever wonder where a gorilla gets their protein from, or an elephant, or a horse, or a cow, or a hippopotamus? All the largest, strongest animals in the world are plant eaters.
That's right, yeah.
Right, and that's because in plants, there is a tremendous amount of protein, and it's also more bioavailable to the body. The body can utilize it, and it can process and assimilate it more effectively.
Right.
And we don't need as much protein as we're being led to believe by certain industries, because it's in their interest to promote that, so you buy their products. I won't go into those industries.
Yeah.
But you can get more than enough protein from plant-based sources. Again, if I'm not saying anyone has to do that. You got to do what you got to do. But yeah, protein's important. But I think it's important for anyone listening to this who is an 11, who is a plant eater or a vegan or vegetarian or whatever. Just know that you can totally get all the protein you need. I eat a lot of nuts and seeds, and I activate them as well. So I take them through a process that activates them, again, makes them very usable, and I have no issues with protein. And just as a last caveat on that, you never heard of anybody dying from protein deficiency.
True. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my horse is like, I don't know, probably 700 pounds overweight. All she does is eat, and she's eating grass and hay. She's a big girl, right? So your theory is absolutely correct. No question. Okay. So what's an example? Can you give us an example of a food that might be a more high vibrational food than others?
Yeah, so this is I'll make a distinguishing difference here. Food that is alive, that is living, that is fresh, that is raw, that is in its unadulterated state, it has not been processed, it has not been cooked. Yep. That is of a much, much, much higher vibration than food that is cooked. So firstly, just distinguishing between those two, I think is important. And also organic food is of a much higher vibration as well. So there's a thing called Carillion photography, and anyone can type that in, and you can see examples of cooked fruits or cooked vegetables or whatever next to uncooked, and you can see it visually. So the most high vibrational foods are fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds. Greens are very high, but fruits in particular, they're very easy for our bodies to digest and to assimilate. So they're really high. And I would stick to simplify it rather than thinking, okay, well, bananas are really high. It's not like that. It's, rose petals are particularly high. Chocolate's actually pretty high. If you want to get into the specifics, so they're pretty high. You can make raw chocolate really easily.
And you have a picture on your website of Carillion photography that shows the difference between a cooked, was it fruit or vegetable? I can't remember. But there, you did show the difference. And I think that's a really important visual to see. It's kind of like when I started to learn how to read auras, and I was seeing them around people and whatnot. And one day I was sitting in the living room and I was looking at my dining room chair and it started to glow. And I'm like, WTF, what is this? Right. And that's when I realized, wow, okay, I guess, there's vibrations in everything, right? Even the wooden chair that sits there has an aura around it. So, but the Kirlian photography is a really, really cool way to take a look and actually see it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that next time we talk, I'm going to show you an example because I have a device which has two anodes on the end and a light bulb, and I can actually show you what happens when you put the light bulb into cooked food or into things that have a low vibration, and then into a fresh juice or a smoothie, and it's a real It's amazing, visually.
So what? And this is only a personal interest here. I used to have a Vitamix. And the theory behind the Vitamix is it's made of airplane point parts. So it's I know this to be true because I left my stainless steel spoon in there and it chewed it up. And it did not do any damage to the machine. No, I don't work for Vitamix, but I'm telling you, big ass machine. Anyway, the point was that because it pulverizes the food to such an extent, you get the advantage of the pulp and the juice. But there's also a theory that says we don't want you having the pulp so much, we just want you to have the compressed juice. What's your thought?
Yeah, so I make juices and smoothies every single day. So juices in the Vitamix, the blender, juices are in a juicer, and it's like this. So they're both good for you. So the pulp is the fiber, right? So we definitely want that in your diet. But the reason why juicing is so important and it's beneficial to have a daily habit or a few times a week habit is because there's no way you can get such. Okay, we live in a world where we're damaged. We're damaged now, and there's a lot of environmental factors out there, and there's a lot of stress going on. The food is being deformed in many ways, so there's a lot of damages. So we need to take in extra hits of nutrients now, vitamins and minerals, to really raise our vibration. And juicing is a way to get a very high concentration of vitamins and minerals that you wouldn't otherwise get in a blender. In a blender, I could put in a couple of bananas, 2 cups of blueberries, maybe some coconut, some almonds, some coconut water. That's it. And that would make me a liter and a half. A juice, which I just drank one earlier in this. I could yeah. Funny color, right? But I could put in, I don't know what the weight is in pounds, but I could put in like a lot more, like 3 or 4 times the amount I would put in the blender, which means that I can just take in this burst of nutrients. So that's why juicing is a beautiful thing. That's why people go on juice feasts, juice cleanses, and that's also why I run smoothie feasts. The reason I chose smoothies for now rather than juices is because it's a little easier for people.
Most people have blenders rather than juice.
Most people have them, exactly. And the idea again is to just give flood your body and your system with a lot of high vibrational nutrients so that you raise your vibration and feel amazing.
Awesome. So I know one of the issues that 11s have is a lack of sleep. It's like their brains are turned on all the time, right? I know I'm guilty of that too. So any foods that you can suggest that might be helpful for sleep?
Yeah. So firstly, I used to have that problem too. Now I don't at all.
Love you. I'm that person who used to.
Yeah. And so before I mention the foods, one thing that is more important than that is actually the time you eat compared to when you go to bed. This is really, really significant. So I know that many people eat really late, and I get it. I understand life is the way that life is, and you're just doing your best. I understand that. So if I go to bed at, say, 10 p.m. and I eat at 8 p.m. and I'm finished by 8:30, I'm not going to be tired at all. I'm going to be quite awake. And I mean, it's obvious because you're putting fuel into your body. What do you think is going to happen? Right. And the digestive system is now operating. And your digestive system uses about 70% of your total body energy. Now, when we go to sleep, if we go to sleep on a empty stomach, so we're not digesting, then the body goes into full repair mode and it uses about 100% of its energy so that you repair during your sleep, you wake up, you feel great. But if you're still digesting food for several hours, the body's only able to use 30% of its total energy toward healing, recovery, repair, because the 70% is going towards this huge job of dealing with the food you just ate. So if I go to bed at 10, eat at 8:30, or 8 o'clock, I'm not going to go to sleep at 10. I'm going to be up till 11:30, and then that has a knock-on effect. If I eat at, say, 6 o'clock, Now I like to eat at 5, but I go early. I go to bed earlier than 9. I just didn't want to sound like too much of a square.
Yeah.
But if I leave about 3 to 4 hours in between when I eat and when I go to bed, that I would say is more important than foods that help with sleep.
When I get hungry, like it's nothing for me to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and grab a handful of almonds or whatever I can grab in the pantry. It's like I'm doing it in my sleep.
Yeah.
It's,
and I would say one of the reasons. I
can't sleep when I'm hungry.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And I've been there too. I've woken up and eaten several bananas and just made me more awake, really. But
yeah,
what I would say is one of the reasons why a person is hungry in general is because they're not getting enough nutrients. The body is actually saying, I need nutrients. It doesn't say, so there's micronutrients and there's macronutrients. Macronutrients are your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals, phytonutrients and zoonutrients. So the body needs more minerals, particularly minerals, which we get from green leafy greens and vitamins. So that's one of the reasons why people are awake. The body just hasn't got what it needs. And it might also need some more fat or some protein, whatever it is, but you need to give the body what it needs. Then you'll rest and then you won't wake up, hitting the fridge at 2 a.m. Well,
I've started taking a blast of magnesium citrate ionic, ABC 123. I don't know. There's a lot of it's a product. It's a powdered magnesium. I find that does help. It helps to relax the muscles and just kind of put me out a little bit better. But I think you're absolutely right. It's getting that. It's knowing what you need. I mean, I do take a lot of supplements, and my husband's always like, "Do we really need all these?" I'm like, "Well, I can't be sure you're getting it all in your food, Even though we eat a fairly balanced diet, but life is busy, right?" Which brings me to another question. Now, what about alcohol, like drinking a glass of wine? I know there's pros and there's cons to it.
Yeah. So there's two sides to every coin, that's for sure. So there's always a pro and a con.
I want the coin side that says I can have a glass of wine with my meat.
Yeah. So this is how I look at things like this, and it's the same with a person. So if you're like, okay, I've read an article that says wine's bad for me, which you'll find millions that'll say it's bad for you, millions that'll say it's good for you, and no wonder people are confused. But if you make the decision, I'm going to stop drinking wine for my health, but then psychologically you are not as happy because you're not able to do those things that you enjoy, you're not able to be social in the way that you enjoyed, whatever, then that's going to actually damage your health a lot more than that one glass of wine. So you got to weigh up, you got to decide on what's your why behind why I'm giving up wine or whether I continue to do it. So if you're like, I love to drink a glass of wine in the evenings, that's something I like to do and it makes me happy, then do it. And do it. But if I would say that if you were a person that was, okay, I'm going to eat only raw fruits and vegetables for a week, I would say you need much less of that wine to get drunk. So, so take it easy.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God, so much to learn. I cannot wait until September the 28th. Oh my God, the questions. So if you want to learn more about Drew Drake and your commitment to health and nutrition and your smoothie challenge and whatnot, you've got to check out thelivingvibration.com. I'll put the website up there as well. And Drew's going to be my guest next week in our live event. That's Monday, September the 28th. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. You have to be a member of the Master Number 11 membership. It's $11. It's going to give you a ton of information that you're not going to get anywhere else. So I would love to see you join us. You can cancel anytime if you choose to, but this is going to be a really, really information-packed event. I'm super, super excited. I know this is going to be good, Drew, because Spirit brought us together in a really weird way. So the timing of this couldn't be better. I'm so grateful that you're planning on doing this for us.
Thank you.
I guess that's it for today. If anybody's got any questions or whatever, you're more than welcome to post them down below. We'll do our best to try and answer them for you. Drew has his smoothie challenge that is starting on September the 30th, if I'm correct.
No, it's in October, but
sorry.
It's okay. You just head over to thelivingvibration.com and all the information's on there.
Perfect. So I know that if I say it online that I'm going to join you, that I'm going to have to join you. So there's going to be a large commitment on my part to do that. Anyway.
Just know, I just want to point out that that program that you're talking about, it's a group effort. So a group of people, we all come together and we're all doing it. So everybody's supporting each other, and we have there's 5 days, and we meet up once in the evening for an hour, and everybody shares experiences, what's coming up and what's not. And so that's the thing. You're not alone when you do this. People have got your back. They know what you're going through. They know what challenges are there, and it's just much easier when we all do it together.
Will there be anybody there at 2 a.m. when I'm in my pantry? Talk me off the ledge. Do not reach for the Oreos. Step back. Anyway, this has been so much fun, Drew. I really appreciate you being here today and giving everybody a bit of a heads up as to what we're going to be presenting next week. And I would really encourage you all to check it out. Drew, do you have a Facebook group, or you've got your Instagram account, I believe?
Yes. I've got an Instagram, official Drew Drake.
Okay.
And Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com Drew Drake Infinity.
Okay, and I'll post it down below as well. So
yeah,
you get all those there. All right. Well, listen, thanks so much for being here with us. I look forward to seeing everybody again next week, September the 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're going to be learning a whole lot more as to how nutrition can help master number 11s utilize their intuition to the best. So see you all then. Bye for now. Take care.